Friends, today the topic is very interesting that the basics of the finance, money and investing. I think it is touching to the everyone hearts since the money is very important and vital for all of us and how to make an investments, how to manage the finance and how to make an investments considering the security, liquidity and risk part that is the most important. And therefore shortly I say that it is a SLR practice. SLR in the sense that security, liquidity and risk. So today we are fortunate that we are having a two faculties who are going to deal with the subject and they will give their thoughts on the subject and the perspective of investments and all. So we are very fortunate today. I just introduce two faculties of today's discussion. On my right, the first person who is sitting is Mr. Ashish Joshi, and he has an experience of 19 years in the field of the mutual funds, wealth management, and financial products. He is heading the HDFC mutual funds, that is the wealth assessment part for the Ahmedabad, then North Gujarat, and certain other territories. And he is advising. HDFC name itself is, you know that they are professionally managed company, and he is one of the pillar of the Gujarat for the purpose of the relationship management and channel management of the products. He has joined HDFC Asset Management Company Limited in October 2007. So he's continued with that for last 19 years with them. He is working as a regional business head and has conducted various investor and distributor sessions. He was worked across Gujarat. Joshi bachelor degree in commerce and MBA in finance from the Saurashtra University. With these brief introductions, I welcome Mr. Ashish Joshi and welcome with the bouquet. So kindly join me by giving a clapping to him. Another introductions is of Mr. Vatsal P. Shah. He has a family business, friends of insurance, but he has charted the path in the field of the mutual funds and other investment products. He is the founder of Anantya Financial Services Ahmedabad, and his experience of financial advisor with a track record of 85 plus clients he is handling as on today, including Ultra HNI, HNI and family offices to create a wealth through strategic investments in highly motivated organization. Previously worked with Deloitte India and Satya India, holds MBA and BTech from Narsi Munji Institute of Management, Mumbai, and has represented India at the Harvard Project for Asian and International Relations in Tokyo and Boston. These are the two countries where he has represented, friends. With these brief introductions, I welcome Mr. Vatsal P. Shah and would like to offer a small token of the flowers. Friends, this session will start right now and will end at 7:35, and we will have a question and answers for 10 minutes. If faculty will conclude little early, then we will have a better chance of interactions with him, question answers. I will not come in between you and him for interactive sessions. The stage is yours, Mr. Joshi and Shah. So you can take it forward. Let us conclude at 7:45 sharp, preferably, so that everyone can go home at time. Thank you so much.
Hello, good evening. Hope I'm audible clearly to the last bench. Yeah, thank you. So, as we are starting the session in English, but I'm well versed with Gujarati, Hindi, whatever you feel, we can communicate, we can easily interact, right? So, please feel free whenever you have a questions, and we want to have this session as much interactive as it is possible. So basically today's topic is of finance, right? So finance is basically covers the study and management of money, investments and other financials instruments. So this is very simple yet very interesting, and sometimes become little bit difficult if we take wrong decision, right? And I can see many of the senior person in the classroom, so it's a privilege for me also to learn something from you. So if I am a faculty, it doesn't mean that I am not a student. I am also a student. I come here not to just deliver, but just to get something from you also, because experience is the biggest thing, right? And I can find many of the faces which is full of experience, right? So basically in finance there are three broad categories. First is personal finance, then we have a corporate finance, and then we have public. So personal finance, when I talk about personal finance, it's all about household decisions. So what you are taking, what we are taking, the decision in the field of finance, right? Now the second part, which is all about corporate. So how the financial decision or financial activities that is carried out at company level, that are covered. And last but not least is the public finance. Although we are very least interested about the same, but it is one of the crucial part. So when we talk about public finance, you have to consider yourself as a finance minister. So after that you can understand ke, is it a easy job or it is a difficult, because you have to take decision in the interest of country. Sometimes our finance minister raises taxation, right? Then we clearly say on the face, oh boss, what she has done. But if you just put your leg into her shoe, you come to know this is a need of an hour. And to run such a big country, you have to take some harsh decision, which is for the betterment of the country. So our topic, the basic of finance. So we will discuss something about the basic principle of the finance, right? So first and foremost and most important thing is time value of money. In short, what I can say is the 100 rupee value today of that currency note will not be the same after 1 year or 2 year. If I give you an option that okay, I will give you 100 rupee today and I will give you 100 rupee after 1 year, which will you prefer? That's what it is, because time value of money, because you have that 1 year, you have lot of options to invest and you can get more than 100 rupees, right? The second important thing is risk and return, and this is very fantastic principle. As an investor, what we would like to have? Lowest risk and highest return, right? But it's a fantasy. Nobody can do that. In general things, if you want to have a higher return, then you have to take higher risk. You will not find any simple ways to have a higher return and lower risk, right? Another important part is the diversification. As we all know that we should not put all our money into one asset class. We should diversify it. I will give you a simple example. If you want to travel to 3 different places, you have lot of mode of transportation, right? Say if you want to travel from Ahmedabad to Gandhinagar, then you have an option of using public transport. You can go via car. Now you want to go to Trivandrum, right? So then the mode of transportation may be different. You have air, you have railway, and the third destination is Dubai. So if you want to go to Dubai, you have to use different mode of transportation. But sometimes people are making it very difficult. They have short-term needs, they invest in FD. They have long-term needs, they invest in FD. They have medium-term needs, they invest in FD. I am not against FD, but what we have to do is we should have to have a diversification across our investments. Last but not least is interest rates, the cost of borrowing. So this cost of borrowing is playing a vital role, right? Now we come straight away to the most beloved word, that's called money, because everybody is working for money 24/7. So money, what is money means? Money is just an item or verified records that is generally accepted as a payment against goods and services and repayment of your debt. So basically three important aspects that money carry. The first and foremost thing what it carries is the medium of exchange. So it facilitates the transactions. Earlier in a barter system, say if you are having one thing and the other person having another thing, right? If you have to trade, then you have to come to a single point. Say I have a 1 kg of sugar and Mr. Vatsal have a 1 kg of wheat. So if I want wheat and he wants sugar, then we have to come to a one conclusion ke boss, 1 kg of sugar is equal to half a kg of wheat. And then only the trade is possible. But after the evolution of the money, it becomes very easy. Now the second is the unit of account. So it's a standardized way where you can measure and compare the value of goods and services. So a 1 kg sugar will cost 50 rupees, 1 kg wheat will cost 30 rupees. So if you have a money, both is very easy. After these two important things, the most important part is the store of value. 100 rupee today will have a value after 10 years also. Although the purchasing power may go up, may go down, 99% go down, because there are two kind of situation, either inflation or deflation. In case of deflation only, you have that right, okay, boss, your money or purchasing power will go up with the same money, right? So let us go, what type of money which is available currently, right? First and foremost thing is commodity, like your gold, silver. Sometimes you can consider a cattle also as money, because that you can exchange, right? The second is fiat money. The fiat money doesn't have any intrinsic value. It doesn't have any backup of any physical commodity, but it has been declared as legal tender by a government. That is called a fiat money, right? So either US dollar, Indian rupee, euro, these all are the example of fiat money. After that, we have a representative money. Hope everybody knows SGB, sovereign gold bond, right? Is it a familiar word? So it's one kind of representative money, because 1 unit of that will have a representation of 1 gram of gold. And last but not least is digital money. So very interesting part. Crypto. Yes. I will just give you some example. In current scenario, we have almost 12 crore unique Demat account. We have more than 15 crore crypto account and more than 18 crore gaming account, because everybody wants to become rich without doing too much, and which is not at all possible. There are certain things which are available in free, but my friend, you have to understand one thing: if something is available totally free, then you are the product. So the company has transformed themselves from basically a normal general company to a data company. So they acquired all the data from you. You consider it as a free, but it's not the fee, right? Now we just discuss about how the value of money is influenced. There are three basic factors. First is, but obviously, economic factor, which is supply and demand. The second one is inflation. Inflation generally is when the general prices go up, your purchasing power go down, and deflation is totally reverse. In that case, general prices will go down and your purchasing power increases. So these are the three important factors. Now we'll move to money supply and monetary policy. Money supply is basically nothing but a total of an amount of the money which is available in an economy via the physical currency and the balance of current and savings accounts. And the second important aspect is monetary policy. We all know that central bank has that power and they are utilizing this power to control inflation. They also utilize it to stabilize economy, and they also use monetary policy to promote employment. Now we all know about the central banks, and we are lucky to have the strongest central bank of the world, which is RBI, right? So what they do, they generally issue currency. They are working for economic growth, so they are taking a decision that influence the interest rate. So that interest rate will help to control or give you a protection against interest inflations, right? And it also regulate the banks. Now we move to the investing part. So this is very interesting. How many of you have done the MBA or BBA? So the basic principle that we taught in MBA or BBA is optimum utilization of resources, because every time our needs are so big and we have that much of money, right? So investing is nothing but it's all about allocating the resources. So basically how you invest, there is one term called savings and the second term calls investing. So savings is different than investing. So if you are earning 100 rupees and your expense is 50, then your savings is 50, but your investment is not 50. Now for investments, you have to invest that money somewhere, either into bank deposit or into gold or into equity. Sir, you can come down here also. There are some space empty. Yeah, sorry. So investment is nothing but savings plus the interest rate that you earned on the savings, right? So what we will going to discuss today is 4 important aspect, one by one. The first and foremost thing, why we should invest. What is the need? The first and foremost important thing is building wealth. आपने किसी को ऐसे बोलते हुए सुना है कि बॉस मेरे पास 2 करोड़ है, मेरे को 5 साल के बाद 5 लाख ही चाहिए? Everybody wants to create wealth. Everybody wants to have a great future. So this is a basic thing why we want to invest. The second important thing is inflation. To give a protection against inflation, we will discuss inflation in detail in next slides. And last but not least, we want to achieve our financial goals, whether it's a dream home, dream car, a better education for our child, or the only one thing for which loan is not available, retirement, sir. You are bang on. So retirement is something, for that you will not get a loan. For each and every other financial goals you get a loan. Even if you want to have out of India holiday, you have a loan. But here you don't have a loan. So you have to plan it well. So what are the options available? So there are basically 4 different type of assets class which are available. One is equity, second is debt, third one is real estate, and fourth one is commodity. Commodity includes gold, silver and all other things, right? So this is what Indian household owns, right? So this is a surprise. Indian households owns 51% of their assets in property. Then you can see after almost 51, the 15% they holds into gold. After that they holds almost 14% into bank FD, 6% into insurance, almost 6% into PF, then 3.4% into cash and 4.7%. These are the data of March 23. Just morning I got another data of March 24. In that case, that property investment has increased from 50.7 to 51, and the investment in equity has also increased from 4.7 to 5.8. You can Google it. There is an article of Mint. You will get all the data. So this is how we are placed as an Indian citizen. Now, what are the popular investment options available for us? The first and foremost thing for all the working people, it's EPF, right? So current the interest rate is 8.25. Then PPF, the most popular investment asset class, right? Afterwards, national savings, bank FD, senior citizen, and then we have a market link products which are available, whether it's a mutual fund, direct equity, insurance. Again, real estate is also a market link product. How? Because when we talk about real estate, if today you own a house for which you have paid 1 crore, but you are in need of money, and if you want to sell it, then the transaction will happen not on your court but the court of buyer. If he said कि बॉस ये तो आपका 1 करोड़ का है, मेरे को तो 80 लाख ही देना है, लेना है तो लो, सॉरी देना है तो दो, राइट? तो हम क्या करेंगे बॉस, मेरे को तो पैसे की ज़रूरत है. और रियल एस्टेट का सबसे बड़ा डिसएडवांटेज क्या है? आई एम नॉट अगेंस्ट रियल एस्टेट, बट अगर आपके पास 1 करोड़ का घर है और आपको 10 लाख रुपए चाहिए, तो यू कांट सेल कि भाई चलो बाथरूम बेच दूँ, चलो अभी ये ड्राइंग रूम का हाफ पोर्शन बेच दूँ, किचन बेच दूँ. सो रियल एस्टेट इज रियली गुड, बट you have to allocate funds in such a way that gives you best return, because there are certain real estate investment which are giving good returns, but it's only on paper. When you want to actually sell you have to focus on it. Now these are the risks that you have to consider while you are investing. Most important thing is inflation, then liquidity, taxation and other things, right? Now this is what the important slide is. Hope it is visible. I think there is, yeah. So I will just brief you on that. What it says is, अगर आपके पास 100 रुपए है और आप कुछ नहीं करते, वो 100 रुपए अपनी तिजोरी में रख के भूल जाते हैं, 30 साल के बाद आप तिजोरी खोलते हो, आपको 100 रुपए का नोट मिला, और यहाँ पे हम एज्यूम कर लेते हैं कि वो अभी भी लीगल टेंडर है राइट? क्योंकि हमारे रीसेंट एक्सपीरियंस कुछ अलग बोलते हैं, बट हम समझ लेते हैं कि लीगल टेंडर है. तो उसका परचेजिंग पावर, अगर आप सिर्फ 7% इन्फ्लेशन गिनो ना, तो उसका परचेजिंग पावर क्या होगा? 11 रुपीज. आपके 100 रुपए का वैल्यू 11 हो गया, और ये सिर्फ 7% इन्फ्लेशन. और ये तो गवर्नमेंट की भाषा है. एक्चुअल इन्फ्लेशन की बात करो, देयर आर 7 टाइप्स ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम मेडिकल टू एजुकेशन, रिटेल, लाइफस्टाइल. आप बहुत सारे इन्फ्लेशन देख सकते हो, और रियल रेट ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन इज नॉट नोन बाय एनीबॉडी बॉस. every type of inflation have their own rates, right? So this is how inflation is playing its role. कई बार क्या होता है कि हम सेफ्टी के कारण इतना बड़ा डिसीजन ले लेते हैं ऑफ इन्वेस्टिंग नॉट इन इक्विटी. वो 10, 12, 15 साल के बाद अपने को होता है, ऐसा होता है कि यार ये मैंने नहीं किया होता तो, राइट? सो दिस आर द रिटर्न्स ऑफ एन एसेट क्लास. ये प्री टैक्स रिटर्न है, पोस्ट टैक्स रिटर्न नहीं है. पहले ऐसा हुआ करता था कि इक्विटी इज ऑल्सो टैक्स फ्री, बट 2018 ऑनवर्ड्स गवर्नमेंट सेड कि बॉस अभी मेरे पास पैसा है ही नहीं, और विदाउट डूइंग टू मच दे आर अर्निंग, राइट? सो आप एक ही चीज़ देखिए सर, 7.5% का इन्फ्लेशन है, उसके सामने आपको एवरेज 8% बैंक एफडी में मिला, ऑलमोस्ट 11.25% आपको मिला गोल्ड में, और ऑलमोस्ट 16% यू गेट इनटू इक्विटीज, राइट? अगर टैक्सेशन का इम्पैक्ट इधर लाए ना सर, सो अदर एसेट क्लास माइट नॉट बी एबल टू जनरेट पॉजिटिव और रियल रिटर्न. इसका ये मीनिंग नहीं है कि आप अपना 100 रुपये इक्विटी में ही डाल दो, बट इसका ये मीनिंग है कि आपको पहले देखना पड़ेगा कि मेरे पास कितने टाइम का पैसा है और मेरे को कौन सी एसेट क्लास में जाना चाहिए. क्योंकि मैंने आपको बोला, पहले ही एग्जांपल दिया कि हमें जाना 3 अलग अलग जगह पे है, बट हम हर बार एक ही मोड ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन का यूज़ नहीं कर सकते, राइट? ये एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल दिया. कई बार हमें क्या होता है कि सर अभी 2% एक्स्ट्रा रिटर्न जनरेट करने के लिए मैं रिस्क क्यों लूँ? मेरे को FD 8 दे रही है, आप बोल रहे हो कि म्यूचुअल फंड में, इक्विटी में 10% मिलेगा, राइट? बिकॉज देर इज अ जनरल रूल ऑफ 10, 5 एंड 3. 10% is an long-term equity returns, 5% is the return that you can expect from debt, and 3% return is of your savings account. तो आप बोलते हो कि यार मेरे को रिस्क ही नहीं लेना है. अब देखो, अगर किसी ने 1 लाख रुपए डाले होते हैं फॉर 20 ईयर्स, राइट, एंड अगर वो सेविंग्स में ही रह गए और सेविंग्स उसको 4% देता है, तो आपका 1 लाख बन गया 2,66,000, राइट? बट वही चीज़ अगर आपने FD की होती तो वो 4 लाख बन गई, और अगर आपने 9% पे कोई भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट में इन्वेस्ट किया होता तो दैट बिकम्स 8 लाख. अभी यहाँ पे पावर ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग का मैजिक क्या है पता है? आफ्टर 10 ईयर्स इट स्टार्ट ग्रोइंग लाइक एनीथिंग. अब देखो, लास्ट कॉलम है ना, उसमें हमने 18% का CAGR लिखा है. सो वहाँ पे आप, ये सिर्फ हाइपोथेटिकल है, यहाँ पे कोई गारंटी कि कोई वो नहीं है, बट दिस इज जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट 2% कैन मेक अ डिफरेंस, राइट? अब देखो, लास्ट कॉलम के अंदर 10 साल के बाद हर साल आपका जो कैपिटल आपने डाला है ना, उतना रिटर्न मिलता है. एंड दिस इज व्हाट द पावर ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग इज. एंड इन लास्ट 2 years इट्स ऑलमोस्ट 8 times, 8 लाख रुपए बढ़ रहा है. एंड द सेम केस इज विद 12%, 14%, 16% काइंड ऑफ अदर थिंग्स. तो दिस इज जस्ट अ पावर ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग. अभी सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ क्या है कि जब आप कभी भी इन्वेस्ट करते हो ना, हम ये भूल जाते हैं कि हम अपना कितना पैसा कौन सी एसेट क्लास में लगाते हैं, राइट? और एक चीज़ तो तय है, देर आर 2 possibilities आफ्टर 20 years, राइट? टुडे वी आर इन 2024. सो इन 2044 either we become US or we become Afghanistan, राइट? दिस आर द 2 possibilities, नो अदर थिंग्स, राइट? तो आप समझो, अगर US बन गए और आपने पैसा इक्विटी में डाला तो कितना बनाओगे? और अगर अफगानिस्तान बन गए और आपने पैसा बैंक FD में डाला तो भी नहीं मिलेगा भाई. दिस इज रियलिटी. सो व्हेन वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग इनटू इक्विटी, वी हैव टू ओपन अप आवर माइंड. वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग इनटू अ बिजनेस. बॉस आपका कितना भी अच्छा दोस्त होगा ना, वो अपना रिटर्न्स 15, 20, 25% अपने बिजनेस से बना रहा है, और आप उसको बोलोगे मेरे को पार्टनरशिप दो, तो वो देगा? यहाँ पे आप एक टाटा मोटर का शेयर ले लीजिए, यू विल बी पार्ट ऑफ रतन टाटा फैमिली, राइट? वो टाटा सन्स के अंदर पूरा होल्ड कर रहे हैं. तो सेम थिंग इज हैपनिंग. तो जब भी आप इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट करते हो तो आपको एक तो नज़रिया थोड़ा बड़ा रखना है. आप बिजनेस बाई कर रहे हो, और बिजनेस का एक रूल है, अप टू 1000 days यू डोंट हैव टू लुक एट द रिटर्न्स. तो आपको पैसे टाइम देना है, और यहाँ पे वही है. मैं आपको आगे की स्लाइड में भी दिखाऊंगा कि हमारे लास्ट 40-45 years में बहुत सारे ऐसे इवेंट बन गए जो हमने सोचा भी नहीं था. द लेटेस्ट वॉज कोविड. स्टिल आवर मार्केट हैज ग्रोन फ्रॉम 100 base to 80,000 टूडे, राइट? इसमें सब आ गया. आप जो भी गिनो, जो सोचा, जो नहीं सोचा, एवरीथिंग हैज बिन डन. एंड देयर इज अ बेसिक थिंग दैट यू कैन डिराइव कि ये कंट्री में कितना रिटर्न आएगा. उसमें 2 इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें, एक इन्फ्लेशन और GDP. इफ यू टोटल इट, यू विल गेट व्हाट द रिटर्न वी शुड एक्सपेक्ट बाय इन्वेस्टिंग इनटू दैट कंट्रीज. एंड द लॉन्गर यू स्टे, द वॉलेटिलिटी विल डिक्रीज. अब ये चार्ट में देखोगे, चार्ट थोड़ा धुंधला है, बट चार्ट में वही दिखाया गया है. अगर आपने 1 साल के लिए पैसा डाला और निकाला, वही पैसा आप हर 3 साल के लिए डाल के निकालते हो, हर 5 साल के लिए, 7 साल के लिए, 10 साल के, 15 साल. तो जैसे ही आपका टाइम होराइजन बढ़ता जा रहा है ना, आपके रिटर्न्स में, इक्विटी में वॉलेटिलिटी कम होती जा रही है, और आपका रिटर्न ऑलमोस्ट लीनियर फैशन में जा रहा है. भले वो हर साल नहीं होगा. आज मार्केट ये साल 20% गिरा भी है, लास्ट ईयर 20% चढ़ा भी है, वो 1 साल में वॉलेटिलिटी है. बट इफ यू स्टे लॉन्गर ना, इट्स नॉट वॉलेटाइल. और कुछ चीज़ें ऐसी है सर कि आप अगर बहुत एनालिसिस करते हो ना, तो कभी अपने सेविंग्स बैंक अकाउंट का स्टेटमेंट निकालना लास्ट 10 साल का, और उसमें देखना आपने मिनिमम बैलेंस कितना मेंटेन किया. तो अगर उसकी FD बनाई होती, मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा, अगर उसकी FD बनाई होती तो भी आप 2-3-4% ज़्यादा कमा सकते थे. And now I will just like to conclude by this an important and very very eye opening questions. अगर आपके पास 1 रुपया है, बराबर, अगर वो 18% से ग्रो हो रहा है, आपके पास एक इंस्ट्रूमेंट आ गया, वो शेयर है, कुछ भी है, राइट? सो व्हाट वुड बी द वैल्यू ऑफ दैट 1 रुपी आफ्टर 100 years? कैन एनीबडी गेस? 1 ही रुपया मैं डालता हूं, बट मेरे को ऐसा इंस्ट्रूमेंट मिल गया कि मेरे को 18% इंटरेस्ट मिलता है. या प्लीज सर, 1200? एनीबडी? बॉस यहाँ पे टैक्स नहीं लगेगा, और आपसे नहीं मांगे जाएंगे, क्योंकि आप अमाउंट देखोगे फिर आप बोलोगे अच्छा हुआ नहीं मांगा. सर प्लीज, ये हमें इंटरेक्टिव बनाना है, वरना तो मैं प्रेजेंटेशन देता ही रहूंगा, और अभी वत्सल भाई का भी टाइम बाकी है. वेरी गुड, धीरे धीरे हम बढ़ रहे हैं आगे. चलो अभी यस, पर्सनल फाइनेंस के अंदर एक रूल है, रूल ऑफ 72. आपको जो भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट जितना % रिटर्न दे रहा है ना, उसको 72 से डिवाइड करो, आपको पता चलेगा कितने टाइम में वो डबल होगा. तो आपका 1 रुपया 4 साल के अंदर 2 रुपये होगा. और जैसे मैंने आपको बोला था, पावर ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग विल स्टार्ट प्लेइंग आफ्टर 10 years. बॉस लुक एट, और ये कुछ नहीं है सर, आप अपने एक्सेल में डालो, अपने एक्सेल में ये पावर ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग करो. एक सेल के अंदर ईयर्स डालो, दूसरे सेल्स के अंदर 1 रुपये डालो, मल्टीप्लाई बाय 2 करो, फिर ड्रैग कर लो, यू विल गेट द सेम रिजल्ट. दिस इज द पावर ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग. इसके अलावा दूसरे 2-3 रूल है. एक मैंने आपको रूल ऑफ 72 बोला, देयर इज अनदर रूल कॉल 114. अगर आपको जानना है कि कितने साल में आपका पैसा 3 गुना होगा, तो यू हैव टू डिवाइडेड दैट % ऑफ रिटर्न व्हाट यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग फ्रॉम द इंस्ट्रूमेंट फ्रॉम 114. तो आपको पता चले 3 गुना कितने साल में होगा. अगर 4 गुना कितने साल में होगा वो जानना है, तो इंस्ट्रूमेंट का जो रिटर्न है वो रिटर्न आप 144 से डिवाइड कर दो, 144. यू विल कम टू नो इन हाउ मेनी ईयर्स योर मनी विल बिकम 4 times. There is another interesting rule called 100 minus your age, there should be your equity exposure, right? But I am against that. Say for example, sir, may I know your age? Now sir has 100 crores, assume, right? So how many money he should allocate to equity? बॉस पूरा डाल दो, उसको 5 साल के बाद मार्केट 50% भी हो गया तो उसका 77 का 35 होगा. So this is all about how you are being able to take risk, right? So this is my part. Now I would like to invite Mr. Vatsal to go further, because this is one interesting slide which I am just keeping. This is a PPF comparison with HDFC Tax Saver Fund, which is one of the oldest. So now if somebody has invested 1 lakh from 1996 till date, he or she has invested 29 lakhs. That grows to 1 crore in PPF. PPF is best, but when it was giving 12% return, currently the rate of return is 7%, right? And the most important thing is you can't withdraw entire money before 15 years. So you are giving 15 years to a debt instrument. Against that, if you have invested the same into Nifty 50, then it might have grown to 3x. उसका 3 करोड़ होता. अगर HDFC टैक्स सेवर में डाला होता तो वैल्यूएशन इज 13 करोड़. दिस इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन इक्विटी एंड डेट, राइट? सो वत्सल भाई प्लीज.
Everybody present here, thank you for taking your valuable time out, and special thanks to the prestigious AMA, elected President Dr. Savan Godiawala, Executive Director Mr. Unmesh Dikshit, and his entire team here. It feels privileged and an honor to be here. Thank you Ashish bhai for your brilliant speech. Now, after his entire theoretical concepts of finance, money and investing, and what he spoke about is perfectly in retrospection. But now, abhi kya? What next? What from tomorrow? And what? Because one size does not fit all. Everybody in this room will need to have a customized financial plan, a customized solution for yourself and your family is what is very important and very critical. Because अगर सब लोग HDFC फ्लेक्सी कैप में डालेंगे या सब लोग क्वांट के फंड में डालेंगे, then everybody's outcomes would be different. So to answer that question and to get an answer for that, we'll ask 10 questions to everybody, and I would seriously want this session to be very interactive. Can I have 3 young volunteers from the room, please? Could you just stand up? That's it. So, what does financial freedom mean to you? First question is, what does financial freedom mean to you?
So it actually means I don't have any stress to feed my family. I don't have anything in my head what I'm gonna do the next year, because I would have the enough savings or enough something like that. I'm talking according to my age right now, so I would have something in my hand for the this year or for the next year. So I wouldn't have anything in my head to think like what will I do after 2 years, or how will I survive with my family or with my children, or anything about I will do with my children, like for their education, for their future investments, for their future business or job or whatever they are gonna do. So at least I will have that security in my mind that whatever it would be, whatever my son or my daughter or whoever it would be, and whatever they will do, they will have the same lifestyle as I am living right now, and I am gonna provide them the same lifestyle.
Perfect. Thank you. How about you?
So financial freedom, what I mean is the lifestyle what we have developed during the initial days that have to be maintained after couple of years or before your retirement age, or when the member is not earning. In that situation, you have some corpus that can help you to survive throughout the life from the rest of the years. It can vary from, like, there is not a fixed age in current days. Earlier it used to be 58, 60 years people work, but now there are a lot of instrument in the market for the investment, so it become less also or more also, depend on individual.
Perfect.
Thank you.
How about you, sir?
काफ़ी बुज़ुर्ग लोग हैं तो देसी भाषा में जवाब दूंगा. घर का कोई भी सदस्य अगर कुछ मांगे और वो अगर 5 डिजिट तक हो तो सोचना ना पड़े, और कोई किसी को कुछ लेना है फैमिली के लिए, खुद के लिए, और वो अगर 6 डिजिट तक हो तो थोड़ा सा भी संकोच ना हो और मैं कार्ड स्वाइप कर दूँ. सिंपल इतना ही है.
Thank you. So, and let us just get a quick answer from all three of you. What are you doing as of now to realize that dream of what you just said?
So I recently started learning about the finance and started investing my money in the equity as well as with the mutual funds. So I'm looking for more instruments where I can invest, and also I'm looking for the another source of incomes, like to establish my own business and everything. Yeah.
How about you, sir?
So I am investing almost 25 to 30% each month from my salary,
Right.
and keep learning on the things for the other financial investment apart from equities. So I'm now exploring more into mutual funds.
Great. How about you, sir?
जस्ट लर्निंग, एंड जो हर किसी का एक होता है कि सीखना है, जब तक सीख सकते हैं सीखना है. पोर्टफोलियो को जितना डाइवर्सिफाई, मतलब जितने भी नहीं, जैसे SGB अभी पिछले 5 साल में, और कुछ बुजुर्ग जो हैं उनको शायद पता भी नहीं होगा, लेकिन हमें पता है कि एक फिजिकल गोल्ड जितना इम्पोर्टेंट है उतना ही SGB एक, क्योंकि RBI गारंटी दे रखी है RBI ने उसकी. तो नए नए जो हमारे पास ऑप्शंस आ रहे हैं उनमें डाइवर्सिफाई कर रहा हूँ अपना पोर्टफोलियो, और जो मेरे बंधु लोग हैं, जो मेरे दोस्त लोग हैं, उन्हें समझा रहा हूँ कि अगर ये नहीं किया तो पछतावा होगा, वो मैं लिख के दे सकता हूँ.
Okay, thank you. So, as we just got to know that every individual has a different aspiration, and to fulfill that aspiration, one has to invest accordingly and wisely to fulfill that particular goals. But how well do you mind map yourself as well as your family in terms of where you want to go and what's your plan? and how will you reach there? So that is very, very important. Some of you are doing well, some need some trajectory change, that we can talk offline, but yeah. So in terms of financial freedom, what one has to do is have a mind map in place, a particular plan in place on where exactly one wants to reach. एक number mind में specifically होना चाहिए that I want to have a corpus of 10 crores, because किसी के लिए 10 crores is huge, किसी के लिए even 100 crores is small, right? So that अगर आपको पता ही नहीं है आपका destination क्या है, then how are you gonna figure out कि मैं कैसे पहुंचूंगा, correct? So that figure has to be defined. So first thing you have to do is define that particular figure, right? That which will help you attain financial freedom, financial independence, which is peace of mind in simple terms. The second question which you guys need to answer is how good are you with your emotions? What's your take on your emotional relationship with money? So I'll give you a couple of examples. As Ashish Bhai said very well, after COVID, since after March 2020, if you see, the number of SIP book has grown exponentially in mutual funds from hardly 7,500-8,000 crores a month to 20,000 crores a month, 21, 22, right? So almost 3x. Number of Demat accounts have already been 5x, right? But everybody fails to understand that you have been in a bull market over the last 4 years. What if the market stagnates over the next 4 years, or if the market gives you negative 20% return over the next 4 years? How many of people in the room will stay invested or invest even more, right? Very few hands up. So that is why emotions in investing are very important. That is going to be a second series lecture of us in December, which is going to cover only psychology and behavioral finance. But this is just to cover your emotions, your emotional sentiment relationship to money is very, very important in terms of your investment. If you say that in today, if markets are down 30% and you want money and you're like, I'm not good with मेरा पैसा 100 रुपए का 65 हो गया, 70 हो गया, because I know a lot of people that in COVID, when your portfolios of say a crore became 60 lakhs and you're like, oh my god, let me pull out that money. That is a time when you have to invest, pump in more money and not take out money, right? Okay, the third question is, how many of you take informed and rational decisions in your financial planning? What do a rational and an informed decision mean? So, there are a couple of case studies, because people usually like have a popular opinion in a social group. People say, मेरे friend ने एक flat ले लिया suburb में and 1.5 crore का था, 35,000 का rent आता है, gives me about 4 lakhs of cash flow every year. So what is the real return? Did you did you calculate the costs of maintenance, fire insurance, taxation? If you take everything out, you will not get more than 3.5%. वो भी higher side पे बोल रहा हूँ. So when you get that 3.5%, so inflation सोचो 7.5% है, and that is WPI. CPI बात करे is 10, 11, 12%. बोले तो WPI, CPI in शुद्ध भाषा में आप APMC बाजार नहीं जाते खाना खरीदने को. You take it from the outside vendor. So outside vendor charges and has an inflation rate of 12% and not the APMC inflation which is at 7.5%. Right? So basically, I'm technically investing into rental income for a cash flow is not a great idea in terms of financial planning. Secondly, people say that, in the last 3 years, I would not name the fund, but there's a fund which is outperforming all mutual funds by quite a high margin over the last 3 years in all categories. We should invest in that. And let's not name and bad mouth funds, but yeah, there's a fund which did that across categories. In the last 6 to 7 months, it is underperforming across all categories. Why? Because of herd mentality. So herd mentality is, इसने किया मुझे भी करना चाहिए. That FOMO, fear of missing out, is one of the biggest drivers of financial underperformance across the longer time frame, right? So even the third example I can give, in the last 3 months, before 3 months, there was a QIP, quantified institutional placement of a large telecom player, again I would not name, at 13.5 rupees. Lot of ultra HNI investors said, this is mafat mein mil raha hai, let me buy. And a lot of people whom we are involved with bought 2 lakh, 5 lakh shares at 13.5 rupees. Today it is 6.5 rupees. Right? So let's not name, but the idea is, don't follow the herd. Follow your mind, gather information, gather data, and then take a rational decision. One more question is, how many of you have a VALS framework of yourself? VALS is value system, attitude, lifestyle. Bole to, how many of you know that you can follow your own strategy as an active investor? How many of you know yourself that you can be a momentum investor, an active investor, passive investor? बोले तो सिर्फ निफ्टी में इंडेक्स फंड में डालूंगा and I'm good. Active investor बोले तो I would be better off investing into stock market day to day. Different strategies. Value investor, I will only buy if I find appropriate value in an asset and if it is available at a steep discount to its intrinsic value. बोले तो if an asset is at 100 rupees and if it is available at 85 rupees, then you buy that asset, right? Or are you a contrarian investor? Example, Suzlon at 2 rupees. How many people had the capacity or the vision that policy making of government is going to change and things will be in place to buy that particular company at this rate? Or say Apar Industries back in 2016 when it was 30 rupees. Today it is 6,500. How many X in 7 years? But kisne liya? I don't know if anybody in the room would have bought any of the two, Suzlon and Apar, right? So that would require a contrarian thinking. So you need to identify what kind of personality are you and then take a step accordingly, that would you be better off being a passive investor, active investor, momentum investor, contrarian investor, value investor, etc. This is a beautiful slide which states that when we meet people and when we say that you should invest here and there, everybody would ask one simple question: શું પરફોર્મન્સ છે, શું રિટર્ન મળશે? રિટર્ન આપણા કંટ્રોલમાં નથી. કાલે ડોનાલ્ડ ટ્રમ્પ ચાઇના પર 2 સેન્કશન મૂકશે કે ઈરાનમાં કંઈ બીજું થશે કે જીઓ પોલિટિકલ કે મેક્રો ઇકોનોમિક આઉટલુક્સ આવશે, તો there is no particular factor which is gonna help you with the return, and that is the only thing which is not in your control. What is in your control? Everything except return, which is risk. What's your risk appetite? How much risk can you take as an investor? Your own profile. How much cost can you bear? How much downside can you bear? What amount of time can you spare? 10 years, 5 years? Actually, in India में investing के लिए long term, short term, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year is 1 year is long term, less than 1 year is short term, right? That is just for taxation purpose. Usually, if you talk to anybody outside India, pension funds, large endowment funds, university endowment funds, they say 2-3-5 साल is short term, long term is 10 years and above. 10 साल तो सोचते भी नहीं है investment, right? So things which are in your control, focus on that, which is risk, cost, time and your own behavior, and not return. Return is the byproduct, correct? So we'll move on to the 6th question, which is Simple. To simplify your financial life. We'll take the question afterwards. Right? So simplify your financial life. When you read newspapers, when you listen to business news channels, everybody tries to complicate financial life. Right? इतना PPF कर दो, 1.5 लाख का लिमिट है, इतना इंश्योरेंस ले लो, इतना पेंशन में रख दो, इतना गोल्ड ले लो, बाकी का FD करो, थोड़ा म्यूचुअल फंड्स ले लो, हो गया. That is financial planning. That is not financial planning. What is financial planning is, as I said before, evaluate yourself and your family, evaluate your needs, evaluate your goals, and gather data, what vehicle, investment vehicle will help you fulfill that particular goal, and then take steps proportionately by investing in that. उसके लिए there's a small maze which is depicted in the picture. Information बहुत सारी है, और आज सोशल मीडिया के इंफॉर्मेशन में वो रील्स भी आते हैं ना, एवरीबडी इज अ फाइनेंशियल गुरु, मुझे सब आता है, राइट? बट नॉलेज क्या, उसमें से 30%, विजडम 0.3% ऑफ दैट मे बी, राइट? One more slide on questions, couple of more actually. So particularly this question applies, the first 7th question is on current lifestyle and spending behavior. What this mentions is that India predominantly has been a savings economy since independence, right? $5 trillion जो बना savings से बना है and consumption से बना है. अभी in Gen Zs and millennials, which is less than 27 years of age, Gen Zs and millennials, which is less than 13 years of age today, they are on a shopping spree. The credit card debt is highest ever and spendings are at highest ever, because nobody knows what is a concept of delayed gratification. Everybody wants instant gratification. What is that? What does that mean is, say if you have 50 lakhs, और से बड़ी बात नहीं करते, छोटी बात करते. If you have a lakh or 50,000 or even 5,000, people will say, I want to buy that iPhone at a 5,000 rupee EMI. They would not say, if I have 5,000, I'll invest. When I have 5 lakhs, I will take 25,000 of that and buy a phone. So that's the mentality change over the last 5 decades. That is why the debts levels are rising. And what does that mean is, you need to identify that what your needs are and what your wants are. Wants और needs में बहुत फर्क है, right? If your wants, मेरा cash flow 1 लाख रुपए है, but मेरा wants 10 लाख रुपए का है, तो of course you're never gonna be a financially independent guy, because your wants are always more than your needs and your cash flows. So that is one very important thing. Everybody in this room, particularly Gen Zs and millennials, have to evaluate, because जो बड़े बुजुर्ग हैं वो तो already have gone through this phase and have been savers and investors individually. What the other part of the slide has to say is, in investing there are 2 types of principles. One is a voting machine and one is a weighing machine. What does that voting machine has to do in investing? बोले तो जो मार्केट में शॉर्ट टर्म नॉइज है, राइट, इन टर्म्स ऑफ व्हाट इज ट्रेंडिंग, द न्यूज इज ऑल लाइक अ वोटिंग मशीन, बिकॉज वोट्स आर नथिंग बट नॉइज. जब भी पॉलिटिक्स, अभी इन द कोर्स ऑफ महाराष्ट्र इलेक्शंस, व्हाट डू यू हियर? लॉट ऑफ नॉइज, राइट? उसमें से एक्चुअली इन्वेस्टिंग में क्या काम का? हार्डली zero, nothing, right? So that is a concept which is equated with voting machine and fundamentals. A company's fundamentals and business, every quarter if you see that a company's business value, P&L statement and cash flow statement is growing, your operating cash flow में से free cash flow पे पैसा जा रहा है, then your company's fundamentals is equal to the business value. तो fund or mutual funds or stock, both will outperform over long term. So that is a weighing machine. और weighing क्यों बोलते हैं? Because जितना अपन weighing पे खड़े रहते हैं वही कांटे में दिखता है, वोटिंग में होता कुछ और है, होता और रिजल्ट कुछ और आता है, राइट? सो starting early and being patient, as far as a weighing machine is concerned, you can create a lot of wealth with any asset classes, particularly equity funds and equity. Last question is, how do you learn from your own financial mistakes, the past mistakes which you have made, right? This is a very important graph. As I said, before optimism, we can align that particular graph pre 2020, pre COVID. जब भी March April में markets fell, it was pre optimism. How many people, can you raise the hand, how many people invested in March and April 2020 when markets collapsed 40%? Less than single digit, less than 10 people in the room out of 75 plus, right? Which is not even 15%. Pretty bad. So, optimism जब भी होता है उसके पहले invest करना is very important. But as I said, number of demat accounts grew exponentially over the course of last 3.5 years. Number of SIPs have increased. वो सब optimism, excitement, thrill और euphoria के time पे हुआ है until April of 2024. Now, after in the last 4 months, euphoria से anxiety से fear में तो already अपन आ गए. I don't know that we'll go from fear to despondency है and despondency से despair में जाएंगे. If the Nifty collapses even 20-30% more from today, we can have a despair situation. But after 2 years, we'll get the data that how many people invested in this tenure, which I feel should be more, but will be less because of behavior and attitude. Right? So, if you want to actually create wealth, be more disciplined and wiser investor by knowing your mistakes, acknowledging who you are, and working upon that mistakes for the better. Right? So, how to choose what you choose? As Mr. Joshi already covered a lot, I'll just quickly go through. Affordable होना चाहिए, liquidity होनी चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कि जब भी जरूरत पड़े तभी no money. Outruns inflation. Return should outperform almost your overall portfolio. Of course, asset allocation करने का, but overall portfolio should outperform inflation by quite a percentage. Then only you will create wealth. Power of compounding का full advantage लो. Cash में FD में पैसा रखोगे. Of course, I am not against FDs, but FD में if your basket of money is large and if your vision is to create wealth, if you want to store wealth as a first step of financial, if somebody is coming up in life and want to secure yourself, तो FD बराबर है. But अगर wealth create करना है, तो FD is gonna be of zero help. And of course, be a part of a massive, large setup, or a big issue like say, be a part of a example, clean energy, sustainable environment, which is going to be a big theme, जो ESG कहते हैं developed countries में. That is going to be the norm over the next 20 years. Who's going to win? Which kind of funds you want to buy in? Which kind of companies do you want to buy in? Example, right? So, strategic asset allocation, tactical asset allocation. Strategic may, as Mr. Joshi mentioned, 100 minus your age is the thumb rule. But that is just a thumb rule. You have to have a lot more things and parameters into account. Maybe you can write it down, or take a picture of it, which is what stage of life you are in is very important. Because if you are 20 and if somebody is 65, your entire financial planning will differ. A father and a son cannot have a same financial planning. Very simple. The number of funds in a portfolio would also vary. The quality of other funds which you buy in a portfolio, or the companies which you buy in a portfolio in terms of market cap, or say a flexi cap or a mid cap fund, also would vary. Your cash flows in life. अगर आपका cash flow ज़्यादा है और reinvest ज़्यादा कर सकते हो, तो your financial planning would differ. Then your overall, so everybody's cash flows are different. So that is a very important ingredient while you plan your finances. Your commitments in life, right? And the dependency of your people surrounding and your business and family, कि आपका commitment उधर कितना है, all these particular factors and of course your own behavior would matter. Correct? This is a small, I don't know if it will be very much visible for everybody, but this is a slide on asset allocation. For the last 17 years, if you take different, performing assets like a basic Nifty fund, a Nifty mid-cap fund index, Nifty small-cap index, a corporate bond index, gold and GSEC, government security index. In 17 financial years, we have witnessed everything, right? Scams, demonetization, GST, COVID, dot-com burst, America mein, everything. Now in that, out of 17 financial years, 8 times, almost 40-45%, Nifty small cap has outperformed all other asset classes. What does that mean? The country is growing. Small businesses are growing. Small businesses profits are growing. So if you want to grow fast and if you are okay to volatility, then participate through small cap and mid cap funds. Of course, in the last 3 years, we see that the number of mid cap and small cap folios are on the rise. But जब भी गिरेंगे तभी ये continue रहना चाहिए. Not is that with momentum coming down of the stock market, you don't invest, right? Only once Nifty mid cap and Nifty index has outperformed, and surprisingly, 6 times out of 17, gold has outperformed. So what does that mean? Strategic allocation percentage, आपका cash flow, behavior, सब कुछ देख के you have to have a basket of everything. ऐसा नहीं कि there are certain gurus, you should never allocate. Gold is like you should totally eliminate that asset class. That is wrong, because in the last 40 years, I was reading an article on Wall Street Journal today morning. In the last 40 years, interest rates were falling and we were in a falling interest rate regime. There were no wars. In the last 7 years, there have been raging wars. The interest rate environment is climbing and we don't know the next 20 years. And the governments have been buying gold like anything. Whether it is Polish government, whether it is Chinese, American, Australian, India itself has bought almost 30% of its gold reserves added in the last 7 years to its overall reserves. Why? Government तो पागल नहीं है ना, कुछ तो होगा तो they would be adding the gold reserves, right? So you need to asset allocate accordingly. And there was one client who told me, વત્સલ ભાઈ આપણે બધા એસેટ ક્લાસમાં છે ને બરાબર પ્રપોર્શનેટલી એક્સપોઝર હોવું જોઈએ. વાય? આપણા ઘરમાં દિવાળી 365 દિવસ રહેવી જોઈએ. કોઈ દિવસ સ્ટોક માર્કેટ 50% પડી ગયું તો શું કરવાનું? મ્યુચ્યુઅલ ફંડમાંથી પૈસા ઉપાડી ના શકાય, સ્ટોકમાં તો બધું પતી ગયું હોય તો કરવાનું શું? એ બેસી રહેવા માટે આપણી પાસે કમોડિટીમાં ગોલ્ડ સિલ્વર હોય તો વી કેન બી મેન્ટલી કમ્ફર્ટેબલ. આ તો જસ્ટ આઈ એમ સેઇંગ that you need to allocate assets accordingly. That doesn't mean that tomorrow you will weigh your 50% portfolio to gold, right? Lastly, this gentleman, how many of you know who this gentleman is? Right. So a co-partner of Warren Buffett, unluckily and unfortunately passed away at the age of 99, just 27 days before his 100th birthday. And even more smarter and shrewd, that's what Mr. Buffett said during his recent Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting at Omaha. What he has to say of investing, that it's simple but not easy. What does that mean? Simple बहुत છે, but everybody makes it so complicated that nobody can follow it well, and hardly very few people compound exponentially. Why? Because he has to say that you spend less than you earn, invest shrewdly, avoid toxic people and toxic activities. Third, try to keep learning all your life and do a lot of deferred gratification. મર્સિડીઝ લેવાની છે, 70 લાખ રૂપિયા છે તો મર્સિડીઝ નહીં લેવાની, 70 લાખ રૂપિયા ઇન્વેસ્ટ કરવાના, એને પહેલાં 5-7 કરોડ કરવાના, પછી 70 લાખની મર્સિડીઝ લેવાની. રાઈટ? ઇફ યુ ડુ ઓલ ધોઝ થિંગ્સ, you are almost certain to succeed, and if you don't, you are going to need a lot of luck. What does that mean? Probability. Coin toss करिए कि dice toss करिए, तो how much probability is there that you will win? Only 100% chance probability is if you win, and if you want to win is through a proper asset allocation, knowing yourself and all the things which I have covered in the previous slide. And if you don't want to need a lot of luck and want to go into a game where you are very unlikely to win without having any unusual luck, example, આજનો દિવસ a conglomerate's market cap and stock fell 20-30%. So everybody wants to make money fast. જો એવું કરવું હોય, પ્રોબેબિલિટી ઇઝ નોટ ઇન યોર ફેવર, તો પછી એવી રીતના ઇન્વેસ્ટ કરી શકો. અધરવાઇઝ ઇન્વેસ્ટ shrewdly, invest in a proper planned manner over a period of long time. And short time ma there are other asset classes, and long time ma there are of course equity funds and equity, which is gonna help you create a lot of wealth over a period of time. By the way, I'll just like to conclude that Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett made their 90% of their, actually 98% of their wealth in the last 40 years. Means after 60, today their net worth is almost 145 billion. Mr. Buffett, he ages today 94. In the last 34-35 years, post 60, 98% of his bulk wealth is created, and he still says that I started late, investing at the age of 11, right? So in 50 years, he created 1 billion. The balance 144 billion were created in the balance 34 years. So compounding, as per Sir Isaac Newton, has to be the 8th wonder of the world. But it is, I mean, officially it isn't, but it has to be, because compounding is a hockey stick graph. ऐसे straight line में नहीं जाता है. It goes like this and like straight. So just stay patient and all best of luck, and practice a lot of delayed gratification for people who are Gen Zs and millennials. Sure, a lot of money would be made. Thank you.
Friends, we have a 4 minutes time to interact with him for question and answer. Before that, let me introduce myself. I am a Pradeep Modi, Chartered Accountant, practicing in Ahmedabad for more than 36 years. My specialization is non-resident taxations, investment advisory, globally merger acquisitions, and international taxation, and cross-border advisory on the business enterprise buying. I would request participants to raise their hands so that they can communicate with the speaker. Mic, please. Koni પાસે છે mic?
You are, we just want to know the AMC working. The AMC companies which are listed, they are doing exceptionally well. But we want to know their revenue model, and why, when will they come down and when will they go up? That's all.
So basically, AMC business is a business.
Mic લઈ લો જોશી.
Hello. Yeah. So AMC business is basically a business that you are playing on the market. So if you want to invest into Indian market, you have three basically themes. One is asset management, the second is insurance, and third one is broking. So when people invest in equity market through mutual funds, we charge management fees, right? So it will be a part of an expense ratio. There will be a certain expense which
we have to do on daily basis that relates to a SEBI expenses and some statutory expenses, right? Apart from that, we charge management fee, and if you have invested into a regular plan, we give some of the portion as a remuneration to your advisor. So when market goes up, the SIPs are going up, and in this scenario, our revenue will going to increase. And when the market will go down, the flow in equity market will going to come down. So at that point of given time, we might degrow or the growth might be stable. Hope I've been able to answer your question.
Second question, please.
Yeah, please.
माइक आप कोई माइक आपो ने हमने
सर 2-3 चीज़ें हैं. एक तो टाटा को छोड़ के जितनी भी ब्लू चिप्स हैं, क्या वो टाइम टू टाइम स्प्लिट होगी तो छोटे और रिटेल निवेशक उसमें अपना एक योगदान दे पाएँ? टाटा को छोड़ के बाकी जो ब्लू चिप्स हैं वो टाइम टू टाइम स्प्लिट होना. दूसरा, हम गोल्ड, प्रॉपर्टी, रियल एस्टेट में डाल के बोलते हैं कि बच्चों की शादी में पैसा जब होगा तब लेंगे. क्या मेरे जैसे जेन जी आपके मुताबिक या जो भी मिलेनियल्स हैं वो ऐसा सोचेंगे कि चलो हमने पैसा डाला इक्विटी में, हम अब सीधा अपनी बच्चों की शादी पे देखेंगे और अभी हमें आईफोन लेना है तो हम इक्विटी को नहीं छेड़ेंगे? आपके मुताबिक क्या है?
या सो बेसिकली आपका जो क्वेश्चन है वो 2 डिवीजन में है. पहला, टाटा, आई थिंक यू माइट बी टॉकिंग अबाउट द स्टॉक, राइट? हाँ, वो स्प्लिट हो गए. फॉर एग्जांपल रिसेंटली रिलायंस के अंदर 1:1 बोनस आया, राइट? सो एक बात समझिए, जब भी आप इन्वेस्ट करते हो ना, कभी शेयर की प्राइस मत देखो. फंड मैनेजर और रिटेल इन्वेस्टर के बीच में क्या डिफरेंस है? रिटेल इन्वेस्टर हमेशा यही देखता है, यार मैं 75,000 रुपीज़ वाला ये स्टॉक नहीं ले पाऊंगा, मैं 1 लाख रुपए वाला MRF नहीं ले पाऊंगा. देयर आर अदर वेज टू इवेल्युएट अ बिजनेस. आप कितना प्राइस टू अर्निंग दे रहे हो, कितना प्राइस टू बुक पे कर रहे हो, दिस आर द थिंग्स दैट यू हैव टू कंसिडर एंड डोंट गो बाय प्राइस. आपको प्राइस पे नहीं जाना है. आपको 2 रुपये वाला भी शेयर मिलेगा, 2,000 वाला भी मिलेगा. अगर आपके पास 20,000 रुपये हैं तो आई वुड से 2,000 वाला बाय करो, 2 वाला छोड़ दो. क्योंकि 2 वाला 2 क्यों आया है? कुछ प्रॉब्लम है. सो स्टिक विथ द मिस्टर डिपेंडेबल, राइट? स्टेबल कंपनीज हैविंग एथिक्स. सबसे बड़ी चीज एथिक्स है बॉस. आज आप रास्ते पे निकलोगे, आपके पास पैसे नहीं है, आपको 4 लोग क्यों बुलाएंगे? क्योंकि आपके एथिक्स अच्छे हैं. और जिसको शॉर्ट टर्म देखना है, हमने सब देख लिया. सो गो विद स्ट्रॉन्ग फाउंडेशन, पेडिग्री एंड द एथिकल प्रैक्टिस दैट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज डूइंग, राइट? बिकॉज मनी इज नॉट एवरीथिंग बॉस. वो है, बट एक लेवल पे, जैसे अभी आज टाटा की बात करो, टाटा से भी बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, बट टाटा का लेवल डिफरेंट है. और हो सके उतना डायरेक्ट स्टॉक के बजाय म्यूचुअल फंड्स में, इंडेक्स फंड में वैसे इन्वेस्ट कीजिए. क्योंकि क्या होता है, कई बार आपको, ये आपका मेन बिजनेस नहीं है. अगर यू आर रिसर्च एनालिस्ट, आई वुड से यू इन्वेस्ट डायरेक्टली इनटू स्टॉक्स, बट यू डोंट हैव दैट एक्सपर्टाइज. आपको सिंपल एग्जांपल दूं, अहमदाबाद के अंदर डॉक्टर्स ज़्यादा हैं या मेडिकल स्टोर? आप दवाई मेडिकल स्टोर से ही लोगे, बट डॉक्टर लिखेगा तब लोगे. सो हायर अ गुड फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर एंड डू अ प्रॉपर प्लानिंग. या द सेकेंड ऑप्शन, यू आर सेइंग कि भाई हमारा इन्वेस्टमेंट्स कहाँ होना चाहिए, मोर और लेस ऑन दैट केस. हाँ, नहीं भूलेगा, उसको भूलना पड़ेगा अगर उसको वेल्थ क्रिएट करनी है. बाकी आप अपनी फैमिली में देखो, देयर आर 2 थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग. फैमिली लेवल पे आज की तारीख में इंडिया में 2 बच्चे हैं, राइट? एक लड़का, एक लड़की. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू अ पर्टिकुलर फैमिली, बट ऑन एन एवरेज समाज लेवल पे, राइट? लड़की की शादी हो जाएगी, लड़के के साथ ही पापा मम्मी रहेंगे. जिंदगी का सबसे बड़ा एक्सपेंस क्या है? घर. यू हैव टू बाय अ हाउस. बट अभी वो नहीं रहेगा. पापा मम्मी बच्चे के साथ जाएंगे तो जो उसका अभी का प्रॉपर्टी है, दैट दे माइट स्टे टुगेदर और दे माइट माइग्रेट.
तो सबसे बड़ा एक्सपेंस जो हमारी जिंदगी में, आपकी जिंदगी में था, वो मेरी जिंदगी में नहीं है। क्योंकि आपकी जिंदगी में क्या था सर, आप एक कमाने वाले थे, 6 खाने वाले थे। मेरी जिंदगी में मेरे फैमिली में 4 कमाने वाले हैं, 5 खाने वाले हैं। सो दैट थिंग इज हैपनिंग। सो आपके पास डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेबल सरप्लस है, आपके पास बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस है। सो यू शुड इन्वेस्ट मोर मनी इनटू इक्विटीज, गिव टाइम, बिकॉज टाइमिंग द मार्केट इज always impossible. So you have to invest maximum in equities, give a time, stay calm, everything else will be taken care. Because there are other asset classes which we have shown, and the return of last 45 years are not even beating inflation. And inflation is something that we all have to take care of. Right?
Last question.
Yeah,
First round.
please sir.
आपका और बत्सल भाई का प्रेजेंटेशन बहुत वंडरफुल था। मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि आपने मेंशन किया कि हमको रिटर्न्स एक्सपेक्टेशन करनी चाहिए इक्विटी से, इन्फ्लेशन प्लस जीडीपी, मगर आपकी जो लास्ट स्लाइड थी उसमें आपने 18% दिखाया।
वो तो एग्जांपल था सर, वो मैंने 18% पावर ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग समझाने के लिए दिखाया था कि हम कई बार ऐसा बोलते हैं कि यार मैं 8% रिटर्न मेरे को फिक्स मिल रहा है, मैं 10% क्यों कमाऊं? तो इट हैज नथिंग टू डू विद वो। कभी भी मैंने बोला था कि उसको रिटर्न गारंटी कुछ नहीं समझिए। वो एक एग्जांपल था कि कहीं 2% रिटर्न आता है तो क्या डिफरेंस होता है 2% का ओवर 25 इयर्स। और हमने लास्ट एग्जांपल देखा कि आपके पास 1 रुपए है, 18% से कंपाउंड होता है। सो व्हाट इट इज आफ्टर 50 इयर्स। सो आपको क्या करना है सर, आपका आज की तारीख में रिटर्न एक्सपेक्टेशन फ्रॉम इंडियन इक्विटी शुड बी इन द रेंज ऑफ 10 to 13%, नॉट मोर देन दैट।
मेरा वत्सल भाई से क्वेश्चन है,
आप वही प्रॉब्लम है ना, वही प्रॉब्लम है। लास्ट 10 दिन में क्या हुआ, लोग आ गए वापस से, अरे भाई अभी क्या लग रहा है। एंड दिस इज ऑल अबाउट इमोशंस, हाउ यू हैंडल द इमोशंस। क्योंकि स्टॉक मार्केट इज अ प्लेस वेयर वीकर हैंड्स गिव अवे क्वालिटी स्टॉक्स टू द स्ट्रॉन्गर हैंड्स। आपको खड़े रहना है। रिलायंस ने भी 5 साल रिटर्न नहीं दिया था सर। तो वो सब चीजें हैं। Sure, please.
वत्सल भाई,
Just to add, stock market is basically a place where wealth is transferred from the impatient to the patient, and fearful and greedy say calm investor.
Last question. Please.
मेरा आपसे क्वेश्चन है कि आपका एक्टिव इन्वेस्टमेंट और पैसिव इन्वेस्टमेंट और पर्टिकुलरली अभी जो मोमेंटम का एमसीज प्रमोट कर रही हैं, इसके बारे में आपका क्या ख्याल है?
So first thing, जो asset management companies, any in India, if they promote, that is to gather liquidity. The intention for NFOs is to gather liquidity, तो वो momentum है. For example, कोई particular green energy का fund आया.
Just
right?
short में what's we are crossing the time.
Yeah, so basically it is momentum. So you have to think that what's your goal and adjust your financial planning accordingly. Very simple. Momentum is not favorable in the short term. If you want to invest for 20 years, you are okay.
So thank you very much, friends. On behalf of the audience, I really congratulate to you for a successful conducting the sessions. So give a big round of applause to both of them as a speaker. On behalf of the Ahmedabad Management Association, I would offer one book to them as a mark of appreciation for conducting nice sessions to Mr. Joshi. And this one for Mr. Vatsal. So with this, friends, we conclude today's sessions. You can have a offline interactions, continue for some more time. I don't mind, because AMA has a rule that normally we start at 6:30 and end at 7:45. So today we have exceeded the time. Sorry for that. Thank you very much for your coming here. Thank you.